Well, hi everybody. We're back. Real Deal Around Town is back for another video. Today I just want to on this video anyway, I just want to give an update on a case in Air District Court that's been hanging around for a while, and I promised to report back in March, and here it is. We have arrived. Today is March 13th, and that is the day that Tad Rochette was his case was scheduled to have something happen. Um, and it did. Well, it continued again, but in a different way. His lawyer showed up. His lawyer showed up, and the Middlesex County Retirement um, Board's lawyer showed up. Just to give a little bit of background, Tad Rochette was arrested a while back. I think it was almost a couple of years ago now. And he was arrested on a number of charges. And one of them was impersonating a police officer. I know that sounds, if you're new to this, I'm going to confuse you before I'm even able to explain the story. He was he was retired. Now, he was no longer functioning as a police officer. He wasn't even doing details. He wasn't even part time. He was not appointed as a police officer in any capacity anywhere. He was fully retired. And he was in Townsend, and I forgot where he was, a store or a donut shop. I don't know. He likes donut shops. That's not even funny, but yeah, he does. He was, excuse me, as I said before, I'm getting over COVID, so I apologize if I make funny noises in my throat. I'm feeling better, a lot better, but my voice is still messed up. So, so anyway, he was arrested. He had a bunch of charges. He was able to get all the other charges dropped, either I think dismissed. I don't even know if it was a not guilty. I think they dismissed most of the charges. Might have been enough. I don't know. I'm not going to go into it right now. The only thing that's still happening for him is he was found guilty of impersonating a police officer. He used his credentials, his old credentials. They were old credentials. And he used them to identify himself, to try to prove himself as a police officer during this event where he was arrested. And he was using his credentials on a victim, not trying to flash them to a cop to say, "Oh, I'm a cop. You know, I'm one of you." No, 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 because he was arrested by people that knew him, the police officers in town, that the town that he retired from. He spent his whole career here in Townsend as a cop, and he was arrested by Townsend police. So they were Townsend police credentials. I don't think they were even current. He had a badge and ID and all this stuff, and they did possess them, and I do have pictures of them. I'm not going to put them in any video. I don't need to do that. But they, because it was in his file, it's all in the evidence. So anyway, he was found guilty of impersonating a police officer. And just thinking about as a regular person, as a lay person, somebody who doesn't really think much about much. I mean, to have a cop, retired cop, arrested for this, and then if you're hearing about this, just hearing from him or from a person who's a retired cop, and they tell you, "Yeah, I have a criminal record. I do. It's for impersonating a police officer." That would make people laugh. I think. Well, how does that happen? And that doesn't on its surface seem like a bad deal, right? Well, that's kind of funny. Um, well, it's not so funny anymore. There's a saying, "F around and find out." Tad effed around and found out. He, for whatever, I don't know the circumstances of how he got everything dropped, but they just didn't dismiss the impersonating a police officer. I don't. I could. I have kind of an assumption. It's complete my own fantasy. Okay, I'm not trying to say I know this happened or I think, oh, this must be what happened. I'm just saying this seems like one of those things that if Tad thought having a record of impersonating a police officer was no big deal, then the scenario that I'm thinking of, and if you've ever been involved in the courts, you would say, these kind of things get tossed around where it's a part of a deal, part of a plea. Like I don't see anything in the record that shows. I don't think I dug up his whole criminal thing, but I don't see anything that shows that there was a plea and he accepted the charge, the conviction in lieu of letting the other charges. Like, okay, I'll take this one. I'll take the impersonating a police officer. That seems pretty silly. I'll take that one. That's fine. Just dismiss everything else. Maybe his lawyer did that. I don't know, but that's kind of this thought process I have. And if that's what happened, oops, his lawyer didn't do his homework, or maybe his lawyer did know. I don't know. I have no idea, because criminal and your retirement, I don't know if if it meant losing a lot of money for the rest of my life. I don't know. I know when you're facing things like this, you make bad decisions because of the stress. You just don't know what's going on. Anyway, but he, for whatever reason, he has this conviction. He does. He's carrying this conviction. He's not going to be able to get rid of it. He, for whatever. I'm not going to go into the whole appeal rights and all that other stuff. It doesn't matter. But the Middlesex County Retirement Board, once they became aware of the conviction for that, they moved to terminate his retirement benefits permanently. And that may seem harsh. That may seem like oh my gosh, really? He's over what? And I don't, it's shocking sometimes. And the reason is there's a law on the books in Massachusetts that, it is a law. I'm sorry, it is a law that if you are a state, county, retiree, whatever, your government worker in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and you're convicted of a crime related to the position that you retired from, I'm not going to try to come up with a bunch of examples, because he's a good example. He was arrested and charged with a crime that was related to his previous employment. He was arrested for using Townsend police credentials when he was no longer a Townsend police officer. He was charged as a retired Townsend police officer with impersonating a current Townsend police officer. And that is absolutely, I don't think you can justify that he wasn't this crime had nothing to do with his job. I don't think there's a way out of that. And I'm just a layperson saying that. I'm no lawyer, believe me, but I can't see a way out. And so it applies. And Middlesex County Retirement Board is quite adamant. They're a board, and that covers all employees in Middlesex County who have retired, and they are adamant that they want him to give up his retirement as a result of this conviction. And he doesn't like that. He is appealing that, and he took the Middlesex County Retirement Board to court. That is playing itself out in Air District Court. It's a district court level case. It hasn't been determined by the court yet. He may have an appeal after this. Well, of course, he would have a right to an appeal, I'm assuming, no matter if the judge rules against him. And today they were in court. Today was a day, and I think they were supposed to just have a determination to have the judge determine by a summary judgment the outcome of the case, and she was going to make a decision. It's Judge Maida is the judge that's handling this case. She is the first Chief Justice, because it's the first Middlesex Court of Air, whatever, something like that. But she's the Chief Justice of Air District Court. So she's not a visiting judge. She's not a part-time judge. She's the one in charge. She's the judge in charge of the courthouse. So she's hanging on to this case. She's not letting some other judge fix it for her. She's handling it. So she, anyway, Tad's lawyer today said, "Oh, you know what? I don't want a summary judgment anymore. We want to have oral arguments." So they want to argue the case. They want to make a presentation. And Middlesex County is really mad. I went to the I didn't go to Air District Court. I'm sitting home with COVID. I did Zoom in. I went on Zoom and I did watch the I sat there half the day because they didn't have this one on the first this case was later in the morning, late in the along the big list that is always there on Thursdays. It's civil day, so there's a lot of cases before us. So I waited with everybody else, and um, yeah, the Middlesex County Retirement Board's lawyer wants to was really not happy because he wants to get this done with, and he's adamant that there should be no question here. There should be an easy summary judgment. He's violated the law, and we have the right to do this, and there shouldn't be any kind of problem. But Tad's lawyer wants to present a case and give arguments as to why he should have his retirement, that they should not take his retirement. And there is his packet in the case packet in the court is quite large. He has submitted numerous documents. It's kind of fascinating. When I first went through it, I thought, who submitted this? And I finally I came. I don't think Middlesex County doesn't have to prove anything. They just have to. Well, I mean, they might. I don't know. It doesn't make sense that Middlesex County would have submitted all these documents in the packet. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's like these have got to have been submitted by Tad, and because Middlesex County only has to prove he was charged with a crime related to his job and he got convicted, and here you have it. I don't know that they have any obligation to say anything else. And Tad doesn't have to. Well, Tad has to prove his case because he's the plaintiff. He's suing Middlesex County. So, but he submitted all kinds of stuff that covered his entire career, all his bad deeds, let me rephrase that. All the accusations made against him throughout his career and how they came to be. I mean, really a lot more information than I think is going to help him. I don't really think there's a lot that's going to be particularly productive to his case, but that's just my opinion. I went over some of it in my previous video on his case. I'm not going to rehash that. I'll put the link in here and you can watch it for the other video. But I just think it's a bit more than overkill. It's maybe harmful. I mean, it's embarrassing probably for anybody involved, but especially him. And I don't know that he sees that. I don't know that in the situation that he's in it, whether his judgment is clear on how this is going to look. I'm sure I don't know what his lawyer has advised him. It's interesting. She's running with it though. I mean, on his behalf, she's doing her job, but that I don't know. It doesn't make him look good, and he's pulling up in his case in the packet. This doesn't mean that she's going to pull any of this out in oral arguments, but I'm assuming that would be the point of the oral arguments, is to bring some of this stuff up. But a lot of it is accusations against the town of Townsend, against former Townsend police leadership and other officers, of misdeeds and unfair treatment against him. And I'm being very nice here in the language I'm using. It's pretty nasty stuff in there. How this is all going to play out, I don't know, but it's coming. It's finally going to. Well, I've been thinking it's coming sooner. I mean, if you got a lawyer to take care of it, I mean, his lawyers trying to give him all the money possible, just every dollar he can bank before they cut him off. Because once he loses the case, that's the end of his money. His money's going to stop coming in that day. He's still receiving his retirement as of this moment. But if he loses the case, his retirement will stop that day. I'm assuming that it would be that day. I don't think they'd give him some day in the future. Middlesex County would love to go backwards, but I think he has the right to keep his retirement until the court determines that he can't keep it anymore. And I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about him and the case, and I am on the fence myself. And the reason I'm on the fence is because he was on the department for his over 20 years. He got his retirement legally, and there is a history of him, his bad behavior and accusations of bad behavior that is public. I'm not going to go into any of it. But the town had more than enough opportunities to terminate his employment. I'm not saying they had the right to, okay? But they had many opportunities to take some kind of action that the town that may have been an attempt to terminate his employment. At no time did the town of Townsend attempt to terminate his employment in his career. Never happened. And, just talking generally, maybe that would have saved him all this aggravation now. if he had stopped being a cop in the town of Townsend 15 years ago from now, he would have worked someplace else, who knows? He could have been a police chief someplace. I don't know. But his arguments, some people say, well, he never should have been this. He never, all these things. I mean, I hear all that, and it's like, and here we are, finally they're going to do something and they're going to take his retirement. It's like, is that fair? And I know that's part of his argument as well. Maybe not everything I just said, but it's like, is this fair? Is it overkill? Is this too big of a punishment for the crime that he was found guilty of? Is this overdoing it? Is this harsh? Is this almost a violation of the cruel and unusual, which is the United States Constitution? Is this unfair? And I think that is his argument, basically. And I think thinking of a person who he was on the department, he got a full retirement, he earned the retirement. Many people might not like his job history, how he conducted himself for his 20-something years. He may not have been the best cop in town. But that's a personnel evaluation that's personal and stays within the police department, has nothing to do with you and I, has nothing to do with the courts, has nothing to do with the determination of something that happened after his retirement. And it's, should he lose his retirement because of that one charge? Now, the other things he was either found not guilty or dismissed. But he's stuck with, impersonating a cop when he's a retired cop. Should he lose his whole retirement for that? If somebody wanted to pull his retirement for other things, the way people don't like him because he did things that weren't right at some point in his career and nothing ever happened to him, do we punish him for that, or do we punish him at all? Does he need to lose his retirement? And I think that's where I'm on the fence. And I think a lot of people are on the fence. I've talked to other cops, and some of them are on the fence too. Like, he did his thing. Should he lose his retirement? It's like, and you got to put, sometimes you have to put yourself in his shoes. Is that a fair sentence? And it's not even a sentence. This is not a sentence. This is an administrative function of the retirement board. And it's it's kind of weird, I mean, some people don't care, but it's like, because some people are assholes, you know. And I don't know that I need to be that person. I am on the fence. I think that it's too bad that he's in this position. Um, I I can see how he got there. The whole his arrest and all this stuff. I can see how he got there, and trying to weasel out of it. I don't know. Uh, the judge now has more time to think about it too. I think she's she's got a retired. This case, I'm sure, is on her mind. Probably not 24/7. She's got other cases on her mind too. But this, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, she's a judge. She'll never admit what she's thinking until she takes action. Uh, but I know the courts, when it comes to police officers, in my opinion, they're over generous, over nice. They let cops get away with, well, if you're Karen Reed, murder. Um, if you're, yeah, they let cops get away with murder if you are of the opinion of Karen Reed. So you need to follow that case if you're not. Getting ready to go to trial on that one, a couple weeks, if that happens. So anyway, yeah, but I'm sure that the judge, of course, and of course, on police officers getting arrested, courts are sometimes particularly angry at police officers who break the law and just use their position inappropriately and cause harm, and they completely violate the badge. Some courts and other officers, some will cover and protect right up through significant corrupt manners, but a lot of times, more and more today, we're seeing the other side where the book is thrown at them, and your the sentences are much harsher than even if you were an average citizen. So because you violated the badge, so it's tough. But this is kind of unique, but it's still a cop. It's still before the court. It's a police officer, a retired police officer, who's begging, really, the judge to let him keep his retirement. And Tad is an older gentleman now. We're all getting older. I've known Tad since, I think, probably he joined the department. Yeah, I think I yeah, I've been involved with police and stuff since before Tad came along. Like, I think I've said before, I was a former dispatcher when I first moved into town, and Tad wasn't on the department yet. So, yep, so I'm sure I met Tad probably when I was on the ambulance or something. I don't remember when I first met him, but I don't talk to him at all now. I'm probably, I don't know, I might see him in a couple weeks when he has his case. But anyway, just to tell you what I'm going to be doing next on this case is, while I scratch my head and kind of feel bad about the whole thing, March 31st will be the next court date for him. His lawyer had asked for oral arguments. His opposing attorney didn't like that, but the judge said, "What am I going to do? Say no?" If a lawyer asks for oral arguments, I'm going to grant them, and so she has to do that. But she doesn't want the case to linger, so she was able to get the lawyers to agree on March 31st in person. I don't know if everybody will be in person, but Tad will be there, and will his lawyer. Uh, and I am planning on being in the courtroom as well. I was going to go today until I got COVID, and then I almost forgot about this whole thing. And so um, I knew something was happening today, and I couldn't remember what it was. And then, oh my God, it's Tad's thing. So, but I will, if I'm healthy and nothing else happens, I hope to be at Air District Court in person. So, Tad, if you're watching, and I will be, depending on how, I might want an interview if you'll give it to me on camera outside the courthouse. Cameras, I can't do that inside the courtroom or inside the courthouse. The district court doesn't allow all these cameras and stuff. Um, Superior court, you get into more stuff, but I can't play that game in district court. So I will try to record what I can outside the courthouse if there's anything to record. So I will. It's in the morning on March 31st at Air District Court. It will be in the main courtroom downstairs, as far as I know. It might not be actually. Let me change that. It might be upstairs because it's an extra. I'm not going to go too crazy. It's it's a regular court day. It's not a civil day. So it may be in the upstairs courtroom. So if anybody else wants to go in person, oh, you can zoom in. The Zoom link is available. You can think you can get it on their website. I don't know. Or call the court. I'm not going to put it on here. If somebody asks me for it, I might. If I get bombarded with requests, I might put it up in the comments or on the description on this video. Otherwise, you can get it. But you can be in person. It's 10 or 11. I'm going to be there probably earlier so I can get parking space. It's a criminal day. So there might be, well, I don't know. I'm going to just get there early because parking sucks over there. It's not impossible. There are parking spaces. If the parking lots behind the courthouse are full, Air Library is across the street and you can park there. It's not a big deal. Parking at Air is not a big deal. It's available. It's not like Lowell or somewhere else. Some of these other courts, man, you can't get in. But sorry, my feet were going to sleep again. I had to put the camera in my lap. All right. So I will see everybody on this topic on March 31st after the fact, and we can make our decisions. I'll reignite the poll. I have a poll going on under community on the main page of this YouTube channel. There's community. You can go over. There's a poll running, and it asking if Tad should keep his retirement. Most people were saying no, but it hasn't been active lately. It's still there, but I will reboot it so that you can see it more available. So, all right. So this case is going to continue up until March 31st, and I will do a video after the fact and let you know what happens. We shall see. Maybe if I'm really lucky, I'll get an interview with Tad. He likes to talk. I don't know. He might not want to talk to me because he knows I've been doing these videos. I don't know how he feels about these videos. I don't. So anyway, we'll see you later. I'm going to be doing more videos on everything going on in town. There's a lot, and I just can't wait for the town to put up the special town meeting video. I heard there was some action there, and also some of the selectmen's meetings that have happened since then as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is late getting up on the Townsend page. So, all right, I'm babbling as usual. That's my thing. I babble. That's what they tell me. But it's my channel. I can babble. So it's my opinion. It's my channel. This is real deal. If you want to get more of my videos, please subscribe. And it's really helpful if you like my videos, whether you like them or not, just like my videos, okay? Can you just do that? And leave a comment. If you leave comments on my videos, I really get, it's good to get the feedback and get your opinion on some of the issues that I'm talking about. I do get feedback when people meet me in person. People sometimes call me up. I get text messages, and people are starting to come to me now to get information about the town. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. The tide is turning. So, because despite the select board insisting that there's transparency, I don't know where it is. The only place I've seen it is on my channel. So, I will chat at you later. All right. Thanks for watching.